And Bhai Baljit Singh ji from Basics of Sikhi. We are very honoured to have them here today, Sad Sangat ji. They are gems of the Panth. And I say that because what they do is they go not just around the UK but around the world doing prachar of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and of Sikhi. Not of any certain jatha, not of any certain caste or anything, it's just of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And that sort of prachar is priceless. So to have them both here today, even I'm blown away, to have them both sat here, very humbled, very honoured. And again, both Virjis are going to talk to us today, do some Katha. And I'd just like to do a benti to everyone who's perhaps in the Langar hall downstairs, if they could come upstairs into Guru Maharaj's Hajuri and listen to the Katha, take part in Darbar Sahib. If one of the Sevadars can perhaps ask everyone to come upstairs. And just a reminder as well, Sad Sangat ji, we do have a stall downstairs for SOPW. All proceeds do go to help those in jail and those families as well who are suffering without family members, who have lost family members. So if you can go down and help support those stalls as well. And similarly, Basics of Sikhi as well. They're an organisation who have been around a couple of years, not many, and their sole purpose is just doing seva. So I will ask Sad Sangat ji if you can donate towards this prachar. You might have seen the videos on YouTube, Basics of Sikhi. Have a look. And I'm now going to pass it over to Virji Jagraj Singh and Virji Baljit Singh. Bol chuka dikhma, Vaheguru ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru ji.
Maharaj knew they were going to come down in 10 generations. So, keeping that in mind, Sikhi is that Miri Piri way. Jivan Penna Kasyaga by SOPW, Singhs of Nottingham took by Shahidi. The idea of Shahidi is very much a part of Sikhi because our Guru was a Shaheed. Not just one Guru, two Gurus were Shaheed. Not just our Gurus sent their sons to be Shaheed as well. So how can Shahidi be any different from Sikhi? Shahidi is built in what our Gurus did, what our Gurus told us to do. Those are the things that we should be looking to anyway for inspiration. In India, there is a saying, kahavat in India which कहते कि सारे चाहते हैं कि भगत सिंह दोबारा जन्मे. भगत सिंह is the Shaheed of India. सारे चाहते हैं कि भगत सिंह दोबारा जन्मे और कोई नहीं चाहता कि मेरे घर में जन्मे. Means that people want Bhagat Singh to be born and come back and bring freedom to India, but they don't want Bhagat Singh in their house because Bhagat Singh was only 23 when he became Shaheed. So the mothers and fathers are now scared of having their sons being Shaheed. I'll tell you a little story about myself. It's a funny one. When I got into Sikhi, I wanted to go to India and learn about Bani. Because I couldn't read Bani, much like much of the youth nowadays here. I knew that I don't know any Bani. The thing is, somebody said to me, the best seva you can do for the Panth is to learn Gurbani. I was like some of the youth here, fresh little beard about this long, brand new kirpan on my Gurdwara and think, yes, I'm part of the mighty Khalsa. I didn't know any Bani then. So, the Singh said to me, best seva you can do is go to India and learn Gurbani. I took that as a button. I said, chalo, it's a good idea, I should try. Because somewhere inside me there was this idea that if Maharaj has left us this khajana, the same khajana that Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj says, ki piyo dalila ko ditta khajana, ta mera man paya dhana. That khajana, we should open it ourselves and find out what's inside that treasure house. That treasure that our Gurus left us, we look inside it and see what's in there. When I told my father of this plan, my physical father, not Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj, Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj said, "Charni ke lajao." Salman hukum na milta Singh Maharaj said, "Go, take a minute to go before you go." But when I asked my physical father, my father said, "You're going to become a Khandu." Okay? So you're going to England Gurbani, and your parents might be scared of you becoming a Khalistani. My father said, "If you go to India now and leave your degree, I'm not going to speak to you again." Because I'm giving you. I said, "All right, I'm going to come back though. You understand? I'm going to go there and come back and carry on my degree." He goes, "I don't believe you. You're going to become a Khalistani. You're going to become a terrorist." So, Maharaj Ji Kirpa, I left anyway. And yes, I did speak to my dad for a whole year. I gaya, वापस आया, degree शुरू कर दी दोबारा, and then my dad started speaking to me. So, our parents are now of the type that they are scared of their kids getting into Sikhi. More importantly, they're scared of their kids becoming Shaheed. If you think back to those times when Ahmad Shah Ghali was coming into India, when at one point in Lahore, they were killing 100 Sikh men a day. 100 Sikh, Roj, chopping their heads off. Every day, 100 Sikhs were having their heads chopped off in Lahore. Same Lahore, we set up later on with our kingdom, Ranjit Singh Raj. Sasangi, the famous story comes up from that time is of a mother who said to the people that were killing her, they were going to kill her son, that he's not a Sikh. And they were Sikh, hey. But the Sikh said, "It made him mad, the child had the option, he was only 16. So, the Sikh said to the mother, "You're not my mother, I'm a Sikh though. I'm a Halebi Sikh." So there comes a time in everybody's life when we have to think about what is our real purpose in life. What are we really here to do? What I'd like to do is ask the Sangat, is there anybody here that thinks they're not going to die? किसने हले ऑफ देखा है कि मौत नहीं आनी? नहीं ना? कोई भी नहीं, सारे कहते नहीं, मैं मानता है एक दिन मेरा भी आना है. So we all know death is coming our way. But what kind of death? The thing to think about is what kind of death. The Sikhs of those times, the ones that were looking for the bakshish of their Guru, they wanted the kind of death that Guruji would be proud of them. Kabir ji ne says his Bani, Kabir, mohe marne ka chao hai. Appa कहते हैं मुझे जीना चाह है. Kabir कहते हैं मुझे मरना चाह है. He wants to die. He goes, I really want to die, but what kind of death do I want? मोहे मरने का चाव है, मरोता हर के द्वार. Let me die at the door of God. Where is that door of God? देखो गुरुद्वारा आगे. Have we come to the door of God yet? Or is the door of God where we actually knock and say, I'm here? जितने भी ऐसी आवाज़ करके पुकारते हैं ये अरब लोग, we're sitting in our house and we call him, isn't that us at the door? Darmande Thade Darbar. I'm standing at your door, hath jod ke. The same, every time you say Waheguru, you're at the door of God. So he says, Mohe marne ka chaw hai, marota har ke dwar. Means when I leave my pran, let me leave my pran as if I'm standing outside your door, saying, I'm doing this for you, main thode samne karayega, and this is what I'm doing for you. And then mat har puche, kaun hai? Pare hamare. He goes, let it not be on that time when I die, that God turns around and says, who is that outside? Kaun hai? Somebody come knocking on your door and falls dead at your door, at least you should know who he is, isn't it? How will he know who you are? Because before that happens, before you've died, you've made a relationship with Waheguru. पहला ही पहचान लेता. So he opens the door and he goes, "Oi, tu hai? What are you dying here for?" So Kabir ji is telling us to build that relationship before you die, and then you won't be scared of dying because you will die at his door. Maut is coming for all of us, but Kabir ji is telling us and Gurdwara is telling us that we can, if we take that time, we sacrifice ourselves for our Guru, then sada pala hona. It will be the thing to do, is to die for Vaheguru. But, Sasanji, but the big but is this: we must do it for the right reason. Samajh rahe ho? You can't give Shaheedgi if you're not giving Shaheedgi to our Guru. Many people died in battle, but not many people died at God's door. The specific reason that we're going to that battle must be a Shubh Ichha. Shubh Karmante Kabhuna Taro. Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj is telling us, if you die for the right reason, you will get blessed. Yeah? Even if you die, you will get blessed. But if you live a long life, live surrounded by your family, and you die surrounded by your family, but you die a coward's death, means at that moment of death, you're thinking about all those times you could have done something, but you didn't bother doing because you were scared. Then, have you died at God's door? No. You haven't sacrificed yourself at God's door. You've had that easy life. So, for me, when I look at our Panth nowadays, I see a lot of people talking about how great the Shaheeds were. I see a lot of people talking about Jagraj Singh, Bhai, Singh, Rajwana. But I also see the hypocrisy of people that don't actually want to do that for themselves. Bhai Singh Rajwana saw a problem in front of him. Vyanta. So this was a problem that was killing many Sikhs. He decided, I might not be able to do much. The police officer, I might not be able to do much. What I can do is solve this problem for the Panth. Solve that problem for the Panth. He decided to go and do it. When Kal Takht said that Bahadur is a Jilla Shaheed, because Sasaniji, why? He's given his life to the Panth. Bishakwa Jindaya, he's already sacrificed his life for the Panth. Because we know, and you know, he's not going to come out. They're going to keep him there, dangling him in front of us. We're not going to let him have it. So he's already given himself. And every time you see him on video, you know, when I watch him on video, my hair stand up. He's like a lion, isn't it? Literally, he might be a man, but he looks like a lion. And he stands there, and everybody around him is a bit quaking at the sight of him as well. And then he just looks at the camera. And you can hear the voice, I'm Khalistan! And I just feel that with Josh inside me, that hey, this is a lion. They've trapped him, but he's a lion. And he's not giving up his anak. And he looks at the camera, and he knows what he's done. And he knows very happy with what he's done. Because he's died at God's door. He's knocked at his Guru's door, and he said, I'm here for you, Maharaj. What you need doing, I'll do. Satsangji, if we would look at him and take inspiration from him, we have to look at what we can do. Pehli gal, and I said this already, there's a guy that came to the Shabir today in Nottingham. He goes that last year he went down to the protest about Professor Puller in London. Very full of energy, he wanted to do all this political stuff. But somebody said to him then, उन्हें कहते कि जे तू असल में कुछ करना चाहता है ना, तू अपने आप को सुधार ले. Get yourself into Sikhi. Sort yourself out. Don't think about the bigger part, but for now, sort yourself out first. He said, at that time it didn't make any sense. He wanted to get Professor Puller free. Now, it's starting to make sense for him. Even by Jagraj Singh Ji, when he stood up in front of the stage many years ago, and there was a lot of people saying, "Kuch bolo," there's a Khalistan rally, and he said, "Khalistan mangan wale, Khalsa bano." We have to understand why is that so cheap, because you know what? In our Panth, many people will start to criticize that idea. They'll say, "Le, dobara wo idhar aa gayi, pehla Khalsa bano." Satsangji, why is that? Kabir ji is telling us, "Mohe marne ka chav hai, maro ta har ke But mat har puche, kaun hai? Mat har puche. Let it not be ki Rab ko puche, kaun hai? Who is this person dying for me? I don't even know this person. Matlab, the relationship should be there already. How many of us nowadays try to understand that idea? You can't be a shaheed if you're not a shaheed for Sikhi. You can't be a shaheed for Sikhi if you don't know what Sikhi is. But people have a limited understanding sometimes of what Sikhi is. A limited, what I mean by that is, the Gurdwara has become a bit of a ritual. They come in, they matha take, have langar, go home. They don't understand Guru Sahib Ji Maharaj, don't understand Bani. They don't understand the thing to be killed is the ego. What are we here for? Kabir Ji, the slogan, Kabir Ji says, Kabir soi mariye. Kill that thing. Soi mariye. Jit muhe sukh hoye. I might get that took a little bit wrong. Kabir soi mariye muhe sukh hoye. Palo palo sab ko kahe. Bura na kahe koi. Kahe koi. Kabir Ji says, kill that thing. By killing that thing, you will get peace. And everybody will say, well done, well done, well done to you. And no one will be against you. No one will say, tu mara hai, you're pura. What is that thing that we have to kill before we even try to go down that path? It's our ego. If you look at the time of death, we can close our eyes for a second. We can imagine for ourselves what that 16-year-old kid was doing when he faced the knife of the executioner's block. What we think about those Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj on Tati Tati, Guru Tegh Ji Maharaj in Delhi. We think about Bhai Sati Das, Bhai Mati Das, Bhai Dyala Ji, Bhai Mani Ji, Bhai Taru Singh Ji. We think about all these people. You know, one thing that comes to my mind is death is a very lonely experience indeed. Kalle jana hai. When you are a baby, you don't remember birth. Kalle aaye sige, but we don't remember it. But that experience of death now, when you're going up there and you know the knife is coming for you, it's not for anybody, it's coming for you, that's a very lonely experience indeed. At that moment in time, that lonely experience, the one thing that will stay with us is the faith that we have in our Guru. There might be pain, there might be a lot of fear, but that faith. How will we build the faith at that moment in time to die for our Guru if we haven't already built a relationship with our Guru beforehand and understood what it is we're here to kill? A lot of the youth nowadays, Benti for the youth, they're getting into Sikhi, but what happens is they get confused about the battle. They start pointing fingers everywhere else outside. You shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing this, you're not as good a Sikh as I am. All they're doing with their jazba is throwing it away. They're getting the blessings from Guru Maharaj to get into Sikhi, but they're throwing it away with their ego. Because as soon as you start to walk this path, Kaljug doesn't like it. Kaljug's going to put obstacles in your way. And what is going to throw at you is Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, and the hardest one, Ahankar. Many of our youth now get into Sikhi and they start becoming very judgmental. They think the first thing to solve is everybody else. They look up, they get excited, they go, wow, I know what Sikhi is, I've woken up. They look around, they see the problems, they go, Sari Madini. Let me go around and become the police and go around sorting out all the Sikhs. हालांकि उन्हें आप नहीं पता कि ऐसी आप ही मारे हैं, है ना? Fiji saying कि I go around the whole world, काले मैंने कपड़े, काला मेरा भेष, गुरी परिया मैं फिरा, लोग कहें दरवेश. Says, look at me, I've got black clothes, black face, everything about me is black kala. Guni pariya main firan. I'm full of sins. Gunha is that for Farsi word for sins. Like gunhegar, guni pariya main I'm full of guns, of bad things. Log kahe darwesh. People call me spiritual person. If you put on this dadi, not put it on, but if you keep the dadi, if you keep a case, you put barn on, then it's darwesh nahi ban gaye. Same thing, innit? Now you come into that path, we want to show off. We don't want to show off. We want to show off that we're coming to our Sikhi. That's fine, keeping our red for our Guru. But the thing is that happens is, next thing we think of Baba Deep Singh Ji. That's it. We're ready to be Baba Deep Singh Ji, walk around with our head on our hands. Look at the life of Baba Deep Singh Ji Maharaj. They were there in Damdama Sahib when Guru Gobind Singh Ji did the whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Katha and Santhya. Baba Deep Singh Ji was one of the Panj Pyare at the time when Nawab Kapur Singh became Nawab of the Panth. And then many years later, when they were doing just normal, the Taksal is teaching Santhya, and even they wrote the whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji in Farsi, in Persian, Arabic. And then they gave their Shahidi. We should be understanding for all of us, youth, to come into Sikhi. Year number 1 into Sikhi is training you. Think of yourself like a soldier. I've been in the army, some people go, already. 1 year training they had is exile. In that 1 year, you were nothing but dirt. Just treated you like dirt. Shouting, they call you sir because you're officer trainer, eh? But they still treat you like dirt, shout at you, scream at you. And you know what? It kills your ego. Because you think, I've got to learn. And I've got to learn. For the youth out there, yes, there's a lot of problems with our faith. There's a lot of problems with the older people. But you know what? A lot of them know a great deal more than us as well. They know a lot. They've done a lot for this month as well. When they had their houses on mortgages, they took their house extra mortgage to pay the Gurdwara debts off as well. I know, you know me as somebody who speaks out against Gurdwara. Yeah, I do speak out against the Gurdwara problems. But Sahib Ji, let it not be that we speak out against the people that actually help this Gurdwara to stand up as well. Same way for the youth that are coming into Sikhi, first year, training year. Don't call yourself nothing. Just focus upon learning. If you can't read Bani, if you can't spend 2 hours washing up dishes on a Sunday, don't start pointing fingers at anybody else. Get in training, learn a few things. Because what will happen is, you start pointing fingers and people will see where it's coming from. It's coming from an inability to deal with yourself. You don't want to deal with the problems inside, it's easier to deal with the problems outside. So you're going to think of it work in progress sign. Because work in progress means one day you could get to the level of being a shaheed, because a shaheed is not easy. I'm not saying shaheedi na pao, but the first thing a shaheed must do is kill their ego. Because it's a lonely experience of shaheedi. Lonely experience. No one's there holding your hand. Everybody's watching you if you're going to be shaheed in public. At that moment in time, to be able to go through that lonely experience with your faith in your Guru. Ki Guru mere sang sada hai, Guru mere sang sada hai, simar ke sada. We can't sing those words ki tera kiya meetha lage. We can't sing those words if we don't know what that is. We don't know Him. We have to know Him. Ki tera kiya meetha lage, har naam padharat, nanak mange. Tera kiya meetha lage, har naam padharat, nanak mange. Tera kiya meetha lage, har naam padharat, nanak mange. We have to have that desire inside ourselves for that naam padharat, the name of God. We can't have that desire inside us for naam padharat if really we're just trying to look outwards, pointing at everybody else, thinking we're the best. We're going to go in front of our Guru, haath jod ke, and say to Maharaj, Kirpa karo Maharaj, bless me one day that I can kill the ego enough that if the option comes in front of me to be a shaheed for your Panth, that I'd take that shahidi. The Sahib Sangat, the only shahidi is not that shahidi where the gun comes to your head, the knife comes to your neck. There's many, many shahidis that need to be done beforehand. There's many much work that needs to be done in our path right now, which requires for us to kill our ego and work with other people. Somebody points a finger at you, you get angry, you point a finger back. The same people every year step up on stage and say, we need ekta. Put them in a room together and they argue with each other. And don't you think that the people in the Sangat can see that pakhand? Of course they can see the pakhand. They don't believe in it. So we really have to take those words seriously. We have to kill our ego and work together. When I asked Maharaj, Maharaj, what do you think about the Panchare idea, Sarvat Khalsa? I've been putting up on YouTube, people started criticizing me, why do you use the word Pak? I asked Maharaj, Hukarnama. Maharaj says, the Hukarnama, just Shabbat, I just told you, Kabirji says, kill that thing by killing it, you will get peace, and then everybody will call you good, and no one will call you bad. But if the Khalsa kills its ego, then the whole world will do sifat of the Khalsa. And no one will be against us. That's what it means. So if we kill our ego together as a panth, we work together, we can actually rule this world, and the whole world will be not opposed to us, will be support of us ruling. That is a form of shahidi as well, to kill your ego. Shahidi hai to put your ego aside and do something for the Guru. To put your problems aside and work together for the panth. So, my beinti to the Sangat is that the shahidi that we're looking for now in this world requires for us to start off by putting the ego aside, embracing Gurbani, working together with the elders and the youth, not criticizing people on the basis of the things that are not into Sikhi, and then Maharaj Kirpa Kare, the shaheed will smile down upon us. Shaheed bhi to wahi radikre hai gaye ki tusi bhi khalsa bano. The shaheed ke de shahidi, they did it for this panth to stand up straight, for the panth to stand up and say, Asi kitta seva what Guru Gobind Singh told us to do. So, if you want to get their blessings, Shaheed Singh's blessings, we're going to have to follow Sikhi. Follow Sikhi by killing the ego, following our Guru, and in this way we will get Guru's blessings. I don't want to do a Biras talk because there's a lot of thinking that needs to be done. When somebody steps up and gives Shahidina, they think about it a lot as well. You have to think about it inside. In the early morning, Swere Ut ke Paan Karna, that Shahidi is happening there. With Tyari ho rahi hai Shahidi. That one day you can step into that game and you know whatever the world is doing to pull you away from that thing that needs to be done, you still are strong on it. The world will be telling you, nitne chhad do, get to your work, but you can do it nahi. Kaam chhad do, but nitne bhi chhadna. Yeah? These are the kind of shahidis, these little shahidis every day will build up the day where we can behave like a proper shaheed and die for the Guru. And what a great blessing it would be to die for the Guru. Everybody dies anyway. Everybody dies anyway. Let's die for the Guru. Yeah. What an amazing blessing. Shaheeds, people are scared, worried about shaheeds. Shaheeds are in Chardi Kara. Whoever died for the path is in Chardi Kara. Of course they are. Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj says, if you do what I tell you, I'll come for you myself. Many people come when you die. Kar vich bahut aande hai, jamdut bhi bahut aande hai. और कोई बिरला कोई होगा जिनको गुरु गोबिंद सिंह जी आप आ रहे हैं महाराज कहते हैं कि बानी गुरु है बानी बिच बानी अमृत सारे गुरबानी कह सेवक जन मानै पर तख गुरु निस्तारे. A benti is start to learn Gurbani, learn Gurmukhi Akhar, learn Gurbani, look inwards. Start to do your own hard work inwards. Start that daily shahidi. Don't just die for the panth, live for the panth. And then we can hopefully be blessed one day. Maharaj Kripa Kare on all of us to be blessed to die for the panth. इन्हें बेनती प्रवान करनी है पुला चुके दी है बख्श जी वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह।
Sangat, the first thing I'd like to do is just to get all the Sangat involved, to engage all the Sangat, so that we're all collectively doing something together. We're going to sing the words of the beauty that Bhai Sahib was quoting again and again. Because within this committee, the beauty speaking of that avastha of the shaheeds, of those that had renounced their ego. सारे मना को कागर कर सतगुरां दे चरणों में हाजरी भरनी है। पहला प्यार उदास बनूगा तो नाल जरूर तुसी सारे ने गज बज के बोलना। सिख प्यारे सिखाओ सारे ही हाजरी भरो। कबीर मोहे मरने का चाओ है, 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 मोहे मरने का चाओ है। मरु तहार के द्वार, मरु तहार के द्वार, मरु तहार के द्वार, मरु तहार के द्वार। मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मोहे मरने का चाओ है। मरु तहार के द्वार, मरु तहार के द्वार, मरु तहार के द्वार, मरु तहार के द्वार। मत हर पूछे कौन है, मत हर पूछे कौन है, मत हर पूछे कौन है, मत हर पूछे कौन है। परा हमारे बार, परा हमारे बार, परा हमारे बार, परा हमारे बार। मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मोहे मरने का चाओ है। कबीर जी saying, कबीर मोहे मरने का चाओ है। कहते I actually yearn, I am excited to die. कबीर जी saying, मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मरो ता हर के द्वार। गुरसिख प्यारा, there was a Gursikh Pyara that was saying these words. If we take our minds back to 1984, जब आप मना नूं ना आप 1984 वाल जो आप वापस लेके जाओगे तो गुरसिख प्यारो एक प्यारा गुरसिख whose name is Sant Nail Singh Ji Khalsa Pindrawale, they were singing these words too. Somebody came to Sant Nail Singh Ji and they were saying, and are you afraid of death? क्या आपकी मौत तो डर नहीं लगता? तो संत जी कहने कबीर मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मरो तो हर के द्वार। What I'm going to do is now look at this Pangti in a slightly different reflection to how Bhai Sahib is translating the Gursikh Pyaro. Because why? Because his Gurbani is ocean. इन्हों जिधरों मर्जी देख लो Gursikh Pyaro। मत हर पूछे कौन है, संत जी कहते मत हर पूछे कौन है। कहते की पता मत दा एक अर्थ मती। कहते की पता, कहते मत हर पूछे कौन है। कहते की पता, कहते मैंने गुरु रामदास जी पातशाह कहते पूछी लैन। Can you never know if I'm lying down in the Parakrama? कहते if I give Shahidi, if I sacrifice my life, कहते if I'm lying down in the Parakrama and Guru Ramdas Ji Pacha decides to come out for a walk, कहते you never know, he might trip upon my body. कहते you never know कि की पता, कहते गुरु रामदास जी पातशाह कहते टहलते टहलते कहते की पता, कहते मेरे कोल आके कहते जे कहते उन्होंने चरण लग जाना, की पता पूछ ही लैन कि मत हर पूछे कौन है, परा हमारे बार। कहते की पता गुरु रामदास जी पातशाह ने पूछ ही लैन कि कौन है मेरे इतने बार ऊपर प्या। कबीर मोहे मरने का चौ है, क्या जाना किब मरहेंगे कैसा मरना होए। गुरु अमरदास जी पातशाह जी महाराज कहते क्या जाना किब मरहेंगे, कहते की पता, कहते वो जो समा जो आना ना मौत का, कहते वी डोंट नो what it's going to be like when that time comes for us। क्या जाना किब मरहेंगे कैसा मरना होए, कहते पर एक गल जरूर पता, जेकर साहिब मनों ना विसरे ता सहला मरना होए। कहते एक गल जरूर है, कहते I can tell you one thing for sure, गुरु अमरदास जी पातशाह से, कहते जेकर साहिब मनों ना, if you don't forget वाहिगुरु जी साहिब, अपना साहिब तो गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी महाराज जी ने, if we don't forget Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Ji from our mind, जेकर साहिब मन होना विसरै ता सहला मरना होए। सहला, the word, that translation to सहला, सहले दे अर्थ ने सौखा। If we don't forget वाहिगुरु जी तो मरना कुछ सौखा हो जाएगा। What does that mean? ਇਹਦਾ ਕੀ अर्थ निकलिया? ਇਹਦਾ ਇਹ मतलब है that we will die in our sleep peacefully? No, Sikh प्यारो, ਇਹਦਾ ਇਹ मतलब है सौखा मरना ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਕੜ ਨਹੀਂ। It is easy for them to die that have no attachments to this world। ਉਹ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ, ਪਰ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰੋ ਪਰ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਿਰਤੀ ਉੱਤੇ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਜੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। They have lifted their mind way above the mud of this world, the attachment of this world। For that reason, it becomes easy for those to die। जेकर साहिब मन होना विसरे ता सहला मरना होए, मरने ते जगत डरे जीव्या लोड़े सब कोई। But the most of the world, पर आम करके संसार मरने ते, गुरसिख पैरो गुरु अमरदास जी saying, but most of the world they are afraid of death। मरने ते जगत डरे जीव्या लोड़े सब कोई, but most of the world is yearning to live। Why? Because they haven't experienced a world beyond these senses। They don't know anything beyond this body। उन्होंने केवल बस इस शरीर तक, इस इंद्रिया तक, संसार नाल पकड़िया। पर गुरसिख प्यारे जिन्हां ने ना सवेर को चौंकड़े ला करके, जिन्होंने सवेर को चौंकड़े ला करके तो उस अकाल पुरख नूं पुकारिया, तो अंदरों तो दिलों पुकारिया वाहिगुरु 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 वाहिगुरु। Those that have experienced a life beyond these senses whilst they are alive, they have no fear of death। Gursikh, if we look at the title of today's program, Defenders of their Faith, that's what we're here today for। Aaj de hi hai na program da title, Gursikh, Defenders of their Faith। But what I'd like to do, Katha, on today is of Defenders of Faith। Take out the dirt। Let's take out the dirt, because this isn't the concept of Sikhi Guru Sikh, this isn't the concept of our gurus। The concept is defenders of any faith, not of one particular faith। Let us take our minds back to that time। From Kashmir, those Pandits came crying। Kashmir to aaye se na Pandit ronde hue, because this is defenders of any faith, not of defenders of their faith, not of defenders of one particular faith। They came to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj। Why? Because somebody told them, Je koi hai, if there is anyone that will take your arm, then you would have to go to the house of Guru Nanak। Because there is that one Guru Nanak that has no fear of anybody। There is one Guru Nanak that has no fear of anybody। He's one Guru Nanak that stood in front of Babar and said, "Oh Babar, you are a jobber, you are a tyrant." He was not afraid at all। This is Baap ki dan le tablo taya, jori mange daan re lalo, kehte oh lalo। Guru Nanak Pacha is saying, they said, look how Babar came, he took over this land with force। But are we those same people that take over things by force? Let's look at our history। Gursikh Pero, those Kashmiri Pandit came to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj Ji कोल आए ने, and Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj ने उन्होंने बेनती प्रवान करके Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj Ji went themselves, आप गए ने गुरसिख प्यारे, तिलक जंजू राखा प्रभ ताका इनो पढ़ो कलू महसाका तिलक जंजू राखा प्रभ ताका that Guru Tegh Bahadur ji Maharaj ji kept. Why did they give Shahidi? Why did they sacrifice their life? Why? Because of that tilak. Because of another matter. ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਧਰਮ ਦੇ ਖਾਤਰ ਕੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤਿਲਕ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਸਨ ਤਿਲਕ ਜੰਜੂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜੰਜੂ ਪਹਿਨਦੇ ਸਨ those that wore that sacred thread Guru Tegh Bahadur ji Paatshah ji went and gave their life to Sikh pyare and they became an example. Was it only Guru Tegh Bahadur ji Maharaj ji that did this? केवल Guru Tegh Bahadur ji Maharaj ने कुछ किया वो सिख प्यारो नहीं. If we now take our minds to that time, there's a village called Patti. There's a village called Patti. Of that village lives somebody called Rahim Bakhsh. Patti da रहने वाला एक Rahim Bakhsh मुसलमान. उत्थे ही नवाब है. From that same village, उत्थे दा नवाब, the governor of that village, his name is Zafar Beg. गुरसिख प्यारियो, Rahim Bakhsh दी 16 साल दी धी नूं गुरसिख प्यारियो, Zafar Beg उत्थे दा नवाब चक के लै गया. If our Guru has done this, if our Guru is the defender of other faiths, of all faiths, Guru Tegh Bahadur ji Maharaj ji laid that foundation. And the summer came, Guru Sikh Pyareo, when this Musliman, Rahim Bakhsh, he went crying to the door of Zafar Beg, to the governor. He says, I cried before you. Please give me my door back. Mainu meri dhi mor de. Odi dhi da naam Guru Sikh Pyareo, Salima. कह लगा मेरा हाथ जोड़ के मैं जो भी करता मेरी धी मैनू वापस मोड़ दे मैं हले दा ब्याह करना है. तो गुरसिख प्यारो ओदी किते ओदी रोण दी आवाज किते सुनी नहीं गई. But nobody heard his cries. Zafar Beg told him, he said, जा मेरे महला विचों, don't come into my palaces. Rahim Bakhsh गुरसिख प्यारो गया फिर. He went to Lahore and he went to Zakariya Khan. लाहौर गया ज़करिया खान को गया गुरसिख प्यारो पर एक गल याद रखियो उस धरती ऊपर गरीबा वास्ते there is no law. उत्थे उस धरती ऊपर there is no law for those that are greedy, those that are lowly. उत्थे केवल ना माफ करना गुरसिख प्यारो there is only law for those that are lowly, that are greedy. क्यों? मेरा की मतलब होया? If somebody that is greedy over there, if they make a mistake, yes, they'll get full sentence. But if you look at the leaders over there, if they do something, if their children do something, if they do something, no, nothing. Nobody even looks their direction. Do they get arrested? No. As you know, today they are still clear. Instead, they've been given seats. So, Rahim Bakhsh, he goes to Zakariya Khan. Utte roya, he cried. And he said that the Nawab of Patti has taken my daughter. He's taken my daughter Salima. Zafar Beg has taken my daughter. Please send him a message to return my daughter. She's only 16 years old. Gursikh Pyaro utte Zakariya Khan ne bhi koi gall nahi suni. Even he tells him to return. वो अपना सिर नीमा करके he is returning back to his village. वो अपने पिंड ਨੂੰ ਵਾਪਸ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ. Rahim Bakhsh मुसलमान. ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਉਸ ਸਮਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾ ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ. ਜੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਰਾਸਤੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਤੇ ਹਨੇਰਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਰਾਤ ਪੈ ਜਾਵੇ ਫਿਰ ਇੰਜ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ ਘਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਹੈ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਘਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਰਾਤ ਰੱਖ ਲਊਗਾ. Is there anybody here? Is there a house of a Sikh here that will keep me for one night? Why? Because the house of Sikhs those days, they were open to all. They were like bed and breakfast of today, but they didn't charge. ਇਹ ਸੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ ਦਿਲ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰੋ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ੇ ਖੁੱਲੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਲੰਘਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ. ਇੱਥੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਨਾ he went through a village called Pula. ਉੱਥੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰੋ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਗੱਭਰੂ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ definitely take you in. ਉਹਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਆ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ. ਉਹਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 25 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਆ. He's about 25 years old, but he will take anybody in. Doesn't matter who you belong to. So ਕਿਸੇ ਪਿਆਰੋ ਉੱਥੇ ਰਹੀਮ ਬਖਸ਼ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਗਿਆ. ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਾ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕਾ ਕੇ तो भाई तारू सिंह नाले उन्होंने सेवा की, नाले उन्होंने चेहरे वाल वेखी गए. As they are serving them the food, they are looking towards their face, towards Rahim Bakshi's face. Bhai Taru Singh. Bhai Taru Singh ने कहा कहते क्यों बुजुर्गो आप जी का चेहरा क्यों मुरझाया होया? Why is your face so down? Why do you look so down? आप जी का रंग क्यों उड़िया होया? तो गुरसिख प्यारे उथे उन्हें ना ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਧਾਵਾਂ ਨਿਕਲ ਗਈਆਂ. He starts to cry. He says, you know, the village I am from, because the Nawab of that village has taken my daughter. And Bhai Taru Singh, no, he didn't refuse. Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj Ji gave the example. Tilak Janju Rakha Prabhata. Kino Bado Kalu Mehsak. ठीक और फोर दलीस से प्राप्त किया प्यार तेग बहादुर सीख करीना कि नो आन गुरसिख प्यारे खैर कमिंग बैक उत्थे भाई तारू सिंह कहने लगे कहने तुसी कुछ समा तुसी आराम करो तुसी फिक्र नहीं करनी. उत्थे भाई तारू सिंह जी किरत की करते हैं गुरसिख प्यारे उत्थे आप they go out and they do farming पर जिन्ना भी वो whatever money they are that they get together अपने सीने ऊपर they will put on their own body भावें फटे कपड़े पाने पैन पर ਸਿੰਘਾਂ वास्ते ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜੰਗਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜੂਝਦੇ ਸਨ ਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਪਹਿਨਣ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਉੱਪਰ. They bought and they took beautiful clothes for the Sikhs that were living in the jungles. And Bhai Taru Singh said to him, he says, you don't need to worry at all. The Gurusikh Pyare ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਨਾ, remember one thing here. ਇੱਥੇ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਇਸ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ who are we going to go and protect. ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੇਖਣਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਧੀ ਬਚਾਉਣੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਧੀ ਬਚਾਉਣੀ ਆ. ਇੱਥੇ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਵੇਖਿਆ. ਬਸ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਭੈਣ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬਚਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ. ਦੇਖ ਪਰਾਈਆਂ ਚੰਗੀਆਂ ਮਾਵਾਂ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਧੀਆਂ ਜਾਣੇ पर बेटी को बेटी जाने पर स्त्री को मात. गुरसिख प्यारिओ एका नारी जती हुए पर नारी धी भैन खाने. भाई गुरदास जी ने बचन ने इत्थे ये भी वेख्या जांदा गुरसिख प्यारिओ जस्ट लाइक संत जरनैल सिंह जी होना कोल ना एक रोंदी ते करलाउंदी. A crying baby comes to Sant Jarnail Singh ji. She's married into the house of a Brahmin. गुरसिख प्यारिओ हिंदू घरों विचों और रोंदी रोंदी उन्होंने पता लगा कि जो है ना if there is anybody that was listening to my cries that there is Sant Jarnail Singh ji. खालसा सोए निर्धन को पाले खालसा सोए दुष्ट को गाले. गुरसिख प्यारे वो गई, she was crying and she went to Sant Jarnail Singh ji. Sant Jarnail Singh ji कहते धीए की गल की होया कहते मेरे घर वाले तंग करते ने. The house that I am married into, she said, my father-in-law is asking me for more dowry. वो कहता है तू जाके दाज लेके आ बोल अपने माँ प्यो दे करो. गुरसिख प्यारे उत्थे संत जरनैल सिंह ने उसे वेले ना सिंघ नूं आख्या कहते जाओ कहते इस लड़की दे घरे नाले दे सहुरे नूं लैके आओ नाले दे घर वाले नूं लैके आओ. Go and bring her husband and go and bring her father-in-law. ते नाले उत्ते संत जरनैल सिंह जी कहने के कहते तेरा पति नहीं कहते कुछ बोलदा. When they ask you for dowry, doesn't your husband speak? People say that Sant Jarnail Singh was against Hindus. Gursik प्यारिओ उत्थे ना मनां नूं कागर रखना. आओ आपां एक बार फिर सतगुरु जी दा चरनां विच अपनी बेनती लाइए नाल पंक्तियां पढ़िए गुरु साहिब दीयां. कबीर मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मोहे मरने का चाओ है, मोहे मरने का चाओ है. मरो तहार के द्वार, मरो तहार के द्वार, मरो तहार के द्वार, मरो तहार के द्वार. पहला मरण कबूल, पहला मरण कबूल, पहला मरण कबूल, पहला मरण कबूल. जीवन की षड्यास, जीवन की षड्यास, मरता मरता जग मुआ मर पे न जाने कोई कबीर जी सही मरता मरता जग मुआ the whole world is dying कहते पर कहते याद रखियो कहते ऐसी मरनी जो मरे बहुर ना मरना हुए ते इधर गुरु अमरदास जी पातशाह भी कहने लगे कहते नानक ऐसी मरनी जो मरे ता सद जीवन हुए कहते if you die such a death if you die a death just like Bhai Talu Singh ji did remember then you will live forever. What does this mean? Nanak aisi marni jo mare ta sad jeevan hoye that they will live forever. Bhai Talu Singh ji lives forever. Baba Fateh Singh ji lives forever. Baba Joravar Singh ji lives forever. Baba Ajit Singh ji lives forever. We think these have died. They have died. No, Sikh Pyareo. They still live today. How? Because you still hear stories people say. You ask someone. से तुसी केस किवें रख ले तो जवाब मिलेगा कहने मैं भाई तालू सिंह हुणां दी साखी सुनी नानक ऐसी मरनी जो मरे तां सद जीवन होए they have died सद जीवन they will live forever Guru Sikh प्यारे so Katha coming back and wrapping up son Janel Singh ji कहने लगे कहते did your husband say anything when your father-in-law was asking you for money she said no he put his head down instead he joined in साजी ने ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਭੇਜਿਆ when a family came back Sanji starts to fill a bag up. The bag of the and when they filled up a bag of Sikh Pyareo, they put it a bag filled with money and they put it forward. And they said to see aakde se na कि तानू इस दे पिता तो दाज चाहिदा तो सन जरनैल सिंह जी कहते मैं इस धी दा पिता हां he said I am the father of this daughter कहते is this enough how much more do you want you tell me I'm the father खालसा सोए निर्धन को पाले खालसा सोए दुष्ट को गाले गुरु सिख प्यारे उहदे घरों जिहड़े आए से ना उन्हां दे संतां दे चरनी ढह पे गुरु सिख प्यारे coming back to Bhai Talu Singh ने गुरु सिख प्यारे ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਕਰਕੇ they went to Zafar to his Beg's house and they brought that team back they brought Salima back to Sikh प्यारे they risked their own lives for this reason became the reason of Bhai Sahib ji becoming arrested. ਤਾਂ ਕਈ ਇਤਿਹਾਸਕਾਰ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਉਸ ਧੀ ਦਾ ਡੋਲਾ ਚੱਕਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੋਢੇ ਤੇ 25 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਤੋਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਹੇ why what did they have that was so unique ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਬੋਲਦਾ ਕਿ 2-2 ਵਜੇ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਨਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਨਾਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜਾਪ ਨਾਲੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪੰਜ ਜਾਪ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ to do 5 jobs of job cycle. I'm just going to finish up one thing. Let's become those Khalsas again. That is not just trying to defend our own faith. Remember our history, Guru Sikh Pyare. I'm going to finish up with one more Sakhi. And then we're going to come over to a Q&A. We're going to give the Sangha the opportunity to ask questions. Bhai Jagraj Singh is going to come back onto the stage. Guru Sikh Pyare, what Khalsa are we talking about today? If we think of Katha is only that person that has got a sword in his hand, but remember one thing, what was the first thing that Bhai Nandalal ji said? Pehli gal ki si Bhai Nandalal ji ne askya Bhai Nandalal ji कहने लगे कहते खालसा सोए जो निंदा त्यागे कहते जिन्हें निंदा त्याग दी गुरसिख प्यारे कोई है आज कोई एक जथेबंदी दूसरे जथेबंदी की निंदा कर दी एक जथेबंदी की वैच भी फोट आज पै रहे हैं and there's becoming divisions even within one jathebandi they've got groups amongst themselves now they're splitting up this much कहते खालसा सोए जो निंदा त्यागे खालसा सोए लड़े हुए आगे खालसा सोए पंच को मारे गुरसिख प्यारे खालसा ਉਹ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੰਜਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਦਾ ਇਸ ਦੇਹੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਪੰਜ ਚੋਰ ਵਸੇ ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਲੋਭ ਮੋਹ ਹੰਕਾਰਾ ਉਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੀ ਨੇ अमृत लूट है मानव नहीं भूत है कोई ना सुने पुकारा दे these 5 चोर पहला आपे इन्हां नाल लड़ना गुरसिख ने ओदी जंग कदों शुरू हुंदी गुरसिख प्यारिओ सिख सवेर नूं गुटका साहिब लैके तां संत आ Sikh he's a sant when he's got his गुटका साहिब in his hand and he's reading the beautiful words of Guru Nanak Paatshah बैठ के जदों Guru Nanak Paatshah जी दी बाणी पढ़दा सोचे सोचना होवे जे सोची लख वार ते फिर जाप साहब दी बाणी शुरू करदा चक्कर चैन अरबंद जात गुरसिख प्यारे तो फिर पढ़ता आनंद साहिब गुरु रविदास जी पातशाह की बाणी है उस समय सिख संत आ पर याद रखियो उठन दे सार उस समय ही सिख ने उस वेले ही सिपाही बन जाना ਇਹਦਾ मतलब की जो उधरों ना जो सिंह उठिया अपना अपनी बाणी पढ़ के तो उधरों जो गाला कढ़न लग पे घर वाली तो तू इना च टाइम लाता आ उत्थे बस हुण क्रोध नूं वस करना गुरसिख प्यारो उत्थे सिपाही बनना एकदम right at that moment when you get challenged when you get up from doing your bani that moment when your wife starts to argue with you oh Singo you know the score at that moment you've got to become a soldier straight away when you got to fight with these five chor जिन्हें वो अंदर पंजाना जिन्हें लड़े ना वो खालसा है गुरसिख प्यारे फिर बाद जाके वो at the last पंक्तियां भाई नंद लाल जी ने क्या खालसा सोए शस्त्र को धारे खालसा सोए दुष्ट को मारे अखीर में जाके क्या तो गुरसिख प्यारे I'm just going to finish up with one thing बाबा दीप सिंह जी hears the cry of a baby of a sister जंगलों में बैठे ने प्रसादा छकण वास्ते तो ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਰੋਂਦਾ ਕੌਣ ਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ and they came back they said oh ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਰਾਜਪੂਤਾਂ ਦੀ ਧੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਗਿਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਗੋਲੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਵਿਆਹ ਵਾਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਪਠਾਨ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਗਏ ਧੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸੌਂਪਦੇ ਆ we'll go and sow them out after you have your prashada ਪਰ ਗੁਰਸਿਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਬਾਬਾ ਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਗੱਲ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਾਲ ਸੁਣਿਓ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਸ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਆ I know the things are walking around but try and keep your focus ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਿਓ ਗੁਰਸਿਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਛੇਤੀ ਬਿਰਤੀ ਟੁੱਟਦੀ ਆ 5 ਤਰੀਕ ਸੀਗੀ ਗੁਰਸਿਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ 1984 5 ਜੂਨ ਦਾ ਦਿਨ ਗੋਲੀਆਂ 20 ਵਾਂਗਰ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵੱਲ ਮੀਂਹ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਛੇਤੀ ਟੁੱਟਦਾ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਿਓ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਪਰ ਰਾਗੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਫੇਰ ਹੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਫੇਰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਡੋਲੇ ਗੁਰਸਿਖ ਦੇ 2 ਰਾਗੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੂਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੀਨੇ 'ਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਲੱਗੀਆਂ ਪਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਸੀਗਾ ਇੱਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਭਾਈ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ there was a Sikh called Bhai Bahadur Singh who kept some bond with the Akhand Kirtani Jathe ਨਾਲ he came inside to Harmandir Sahib ਉਹ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰੋ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਗੁਰਸਿਖ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਸਿੰਘ ਕੱਲਾ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਬਾਜੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਇਸਾ on the ਬਾਜਾ on his own ਤਾਂ ਗੁਰਸਿਖ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ 2 ਘੰਟੇ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੱਲਾ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ and bullets were going right over his head ਤਾਂ 2 ਘੰਟਿਆਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਗੁਰਸਿਖ ਪਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਗੋਲੀ ਇੱਕ ਛਾਤੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਲੱਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਭਾਈ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਨਾ ਕਿ 400 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੀਏ ਉੱਥੇ ਅਖੰਡ ਪਾਠ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਹਰ ਕੀ ਪੌੜੀ ਉੱਪਰ ਤੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਜਿਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਦੂਸਰ ਰੂਪ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਦੀ ਜਾਣੋ ਆਪਨ ਅੰਗ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਰ ਮਨ ਹੋ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ know the lips of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Paatshah and my Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah said to be the same ਉਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ 1984 ਵਿੱਚ ਹਰ ਕੀ ਪੌੜੀ ਉੱਪਰ ਪੁਰਾਤਨ ਸਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਹੱਥ ਲਿਖਤ ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਉਸ ਸਰੂਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਇੱਕ ਗੋਲੀ ਲੱਗੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਅੰਗਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਸ ਸਰੂਪ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਇਸ ਮੈਂ ਭੇਦ ਨਾ ਰੰਚਕ ਮਾਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਜਿਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਖਿਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਰੂਪ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਇਸ ਮੈਂ ਭੇਦ ਨਾ ਰੰਚਕ ਮਾਨ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ let them not don't have any doubt ਕਹਿੰਦੇ not even a sesame seeds worth ਕਹਿੰਦੇ of a difference between me and Guru Granth Singh Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah said and Baba Deep Singh Ji said ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਿੰਘੋ I can't wait ਕਹਿੰਦੇ can't you see what my khanda is saying मेरी एक खंडे की धार कहती है तू गरीब की राखी कर तो दूसरे खंडे की धार कहते तू कहते जाके तो तू जालम का सिर जाके भंड सक खालसा सोए निर्धन को पाले एक धार खंडे की कहती खालसा सोए दुष्ट को गाले बाबा दीप सिंह जी गए तो बाबा दीप सिंह ने गुरसिख प्यारिओ उत्थे जूझ के तो उस धी नूं अपने वास करके गुरसिख प्यारिओ उन्होंने घर पहुंचाया उस राजपूता की धी नूं पठाना तो लैके because they kidnapped her they took her back home. And remember, खालसा हुआ जितने अंदरों 5 चोरां नु मार दिता, किसी ने पूछ लिया बाबा दीप सिंह नु, कहते बाबा दीप सिंह नु किसी ने पूछ लिया, कहते ए धी कहते बड़ी सोहनी आ, बड़ी सनखी आ, तुसी लियांदे लियांदे ताडे मन विच कुछ गल तां नहीं किते आ गई? कहते did you have any thoughts? How did you keep your mind pure when you was bringing her over to our house because she is so beautiful? The Baba Deep Singh कहते ओए कहते केड़े गल कर दी तुसी? कहते जे तुसी पुछना ही है ना कहते मैनू पुछो कहते मेरे मन विच की ख्याल सीगा, खालसा कौन है, गुरसिख प्यारे, who are the defenders of the faith? Baba Deep Singh said, as I was bringing her over back to her house, I started doing Japji Sahib da Paath. कहते पता की सीगा मेरे मन विच ख्याल, कहते एक पासे कहते माता साहब पाक दा पुत, कहते दूसरे पासे कहते एक मिट्टी दा बुत. कहते that's all I could see. I could see nothing else but just a pile of dust. Because a Gursikh is that can see beyond these beauties of the others' bodies. Gursikh Pyaros have itne बेनके प्रवान कर लिया. Don't ever forget, we are there to defend the whole of the humanity. We are the army that is here to give justice to others. We are not here to get aboard and ask the world for justice. ਆਪਾਂ ਦੂਸਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਸਟਿਸ ਦਿਓ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰੋ. ਆਪਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਝਾਤੀ ਮਾਰੀਏ. ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੂੰ tell the world we are here to give you justice. तो इतनी एक बेनतियां प्रवान करनी, एक नहीं पर अनेक ही गलतियां हो गई हैं. अनजान बच्चा समझ के माफ कर देना. सो आओ असीस बख्शो तो गज बज के आखो वाहेगुरू जी का खालसा, वाहेगुरू जी की फतेह.
सासनिक जी, वाहेगुरू जी का खालसा, वाहेगुरू जी की फतेह. Sometimes you open up a can and it's been shaken or whatever and it goes everywhere. We ask for questions. So we got bombarded with quite a lot of questions. The singer will be here for a while, we got over the time. A lot of very interesting questions. They try and go through them as quickly as we can, not taking too long. First question is, climate change threatens Punjab and the world. What should be done to mobilize the Sikhs against this problem? Look, mobilizing Sikhs is not going to be enough to solve that problem. 28 million Sikhs aren't going to solve climate change by themselves, are they? The whole world needs to be mobilized. So the first thing a Sikh could do is educate themselves about climate change. I'll give you a quick idea. I was talking to a girl today in the streets of Nottingham. I said, look, our religion does not expect the world to end. We're not trying to end the world and bring about Judgment Day. Qayamat kehte hain Punjabi mein. We're not trying to bring Qayamat here. What we're trying to do is improve the world to bring Satjug here, the age of truth. So we are interested in preserving the world. Many of the religions are not interested in preserving the world because they're trying to end the world and bring about Judgment Day. So, first things first, we must ourselves learn about what is going on and then educate people why the earth is our mother and why we should look after our mother. And that means ourselves, we should be taking steps to bring Daya into our life. I'll give you an example. Gurdwara mein dudh aanda hai ki wo dudh hai ki wo zehar hai. How many cows have gone through so much pain to get the cheap milk that we buy nowadays for £1? Why don't we buy organic milk? Organic milk aanda hai ki nahi? We look at that £1 and the £1.50, we say let's save 50p. 50p just samosa khane aande fir they go straight away. Well, why don't we buy organic milk? Why don't we buy organic everything? The more organic we buy, the cheaper organic becomes for everybody else. When somebody says to you, what are you doing about climate change? You will say, I recycle whatever I have. I try to limit the amount of water I waste. I try and use only organic things. I don't try to go into industrialization. Same thing, if we can set up for ourselves, that would be a good thing. So first main thing is that we should do ourselves what we can do. And that means at a small level, become that kind of person who cares about the world. Then when you speak now, Mara says, कि अब उपदेश से आप ना करें, आवत जावत जग में मरे. If you can tell someone to recycle, Sasanji, in your words there is going to be jor. Maharaj says, Karam Khand ki bani, jor. Karam, there are बहुत सारे अर्थ होते हैं कि एक अर्थ होता है कि एक्शन, अदर अर्थ होता है कि कृपा. जिससे कृपा होगी, जिससे वो कर्म कमा लेते, महाराज ने बख्शे कर्म, तो ओदे बाणी में जोर होता है. If you say recycle to somebody and you recycle, they will listen to you. If you say recycle to somebody and you don't actually recycle, your words won't have that power. They say verbal communication is a very small percentage of actual communication. Sincerity is also transmitted to us. If you are sincere, people will sense that sincerity. Okay. So let's do ourselves what we can do. India is trying to wipe out our sins with alcohol and drugs, not swords and guns. How do we as a Panth tackle this? Well, if I can take you back to what Paisa was talking about, Singh kade marde, Shaheed kade marde. They're trying to kill Sikhi by killing Sikhs, but if we grow more Sikhs, they'll never kill Sikhi. The body might die, but the soul doesn't die. Even if they kill every single Sikh in India, the Ruha will be wandering around looking for a body to go into. So why don't we make those bodies here? Marde Singh. They tried to kill Sikhi, Sikhs laughed. They said, how can you kill? Maharaj says, Gur ka shabad na mete koi. No one can wipe out the Guru Shabad. Gur Nanak, Nanak har soy. Nanak is God. How will you kill God? How will you kill the path of Nanak? You can't. Nanak Raj Jalaya. Such a court Satari need. So they can't kill Sikhi, but they can kill Sikhs. We can grow more Sikhs. We're not worried about them killing Sikhs. Sikhs are going to die anyway. They're not going to stop dying, but we're going to keep on growing more. Okay? Main thing is to grow more Sikhs than they kill. Okay? All these kids sitting here, let's make them into Sikhs. Let's teach them what Sikhi really is. So what can we do? What can we do? Let's make our Gurdwara into Sachkhand. The word Sachkhand does not come in Guru Granth Sahib Ji ke naam Japji Sahib. She can dekh lo, in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, after Sachkhand Vasankar. Does it come again? What does it mean then? Sachkhand ka arth ki niklya. Bhai Gurdas ji kehte Saad Sangat Sachkhand hai. Ehi Sachkhand hai Sasani ji. We're going to make Sachkhand here. So, if we make Bani Paragat here, we will make Sachkhand here. Then people like Bhai Sahib Ji, they will come into Sad Sangat and they will transform into Sikhs. Not just Punjabi people, Gore, Kale, Chinne, Sare Sikh Marange. Khalsa Raj Ukham, 96 crore Khalsa Fauj hovegi, 960 million Khalsa. It's not going to be just Punjabi then, is it? Yeah? So, let's grow it.
There's a Pangati by Guru Dev Pacha. Pacha कहते अब चल दीव तरी गुरु नानक नित जड़े सवाई ने जरी गी रख दी ना गुरु नानक पाच ने नो दैट फाउंडेशन दैट गुरु नानक पाच has laid Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha this is Gurbani and आप चल यार it can't be moved by anybody आप चल कोई चलन नहीं लगी किते भी वो आप चल यार कोई नहीं उन्हें मिटा सकता आप चल नीव तरी गुरु नानक नित जड़े सवाई वो केवल चांदी कला चलाऊंगी Nit. And that's what's happening now. It's going into Jagraj. If you look at the other countries, keval aap Punjab baat na dekhi hai. If you look around, it is going into Jagraj. There's so many people that have read about 84 that have taken Amrit. So nit jade se Gurbani da faisla. So it can't be wrong. It's getting stronger.
The family of Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj is destined to keep on growing. And the family of Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj, their son Guru Arjan, their grandson Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, their great grandson Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, their great grandson Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and then the great grandson of Guru Khalsa Bahadur. So, a lot of questions, and please stop sending me fast. So, in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time, Muslims and Sikhs are fine with each other, but later on in the Guru's lifetime there was a conflict. What made the conflict? Not us. Na ko bari, nahi bigana. Sakal sa humko banai. We haven't got any enemies. The conflict came from the other side trying to get rid of Sikhs. Then what happened is some of the Sikhs fell down from the high status and they started to bring hate into this house. But the youth, you see that movie Apocalypse, don't it? One day in Apocalypse, the father's sitting there looking at his son, and the son is scared. They got the knife to the father's neck, and they're going to cut his neck open and kill him in front of his son. The father says to his son beforehand, he says to him, don't bring fear into this village. When he saw the enemy coming, he said, I didn't tell you to bring fear into this house. If our father's sitting here, our father's given the fans at the very beginning what we're going to bring into his house. Nirpo, nir. Don't bring fear into this house, and don't bring bad into this house. Don't bring enmity. Don't have hatred towards anybody else. Don't bring it into this house. It might be for other people, but it's not for us. It's a calm wali cheez nahi. You've got to leave it aside. So, for those people that have that confidence in their mind, then what are you going to do about Bhai Mardana ji, who's in here? What are you going to do about Sheikh Fariji, who's in here? No. Asini, we don't hate anybody. It's coming because of politics and history, but it can't be in our heart. It can't be in our heart. Why are there many Rasools of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, not just one? I think that's a more... Look, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is obviously where we're going to matha take. So there is those Rasools when we go to Gurdwara. Every Gurdwara should have one at least. There are sometimes maybe too many. And we haven't yet got our system sorted how to deal with them. A lot of people, their Dada go on over. Dada was into Sikhi, kids not that much into Sikhi, and sometimes our Sangaji, yesterday I was talking to one of the Singhs, day before yesterday, he was telling me that when they started the Sikligar campaign, and they started making someone aware about what the Sarups are going through is Biadbi, people started phoning them up and saying, please come and collect the Sarups in our house. There's one lying in our loft. Why? God is sitting in the loft, in Sukhasan, and no one's coming, no one's looking their seva. He said, please come and take the Sarups. The Singhs there took the Sarups, and they had so many Sarups, they didn't know where to put them. And no Gurdwara was interested in helping. So they bought a house, they paid the rent of the house, and they put the Sarups in that house. There was too many Sarups for just the beds. They made shelves and put the Sarups there. And one day the Sikhs found out about this and had to go at them. So you put the Sarups. So suddenly the Singhs said to the people, said to the Singhs, okay, you deal with them then. And they couldn't. So we need to have a system in this country for dealing with Maharaj. If you can't deal with Maharaj, there should be Gurdwara that take them in. And if they can't deal with them, then obviously, at that time when they bought the Sarups, they spent £40,000 taking the Sarups back to India. And in Italy, they spent £60,000 bringing Sarups from India to Italy on a plane. They could just think about it. So our path needs to sort itself out and organize itself. Yeah? As a path, we need to organize ourselves. And that way we can solve these problems. These problems are because of lack of organization. Why? Because we're not talking to each other, we're arguing with each other. How would you know you're ready to be a Sikh? Well, I think this question is talking about Amrit and not just to be a Sikh. Because probably most people here are already Sikh. When you feel ready to follow Guru Nanak Dev Ji over anybody else, you're ready to be a Sikh. Ek paase Guru Nanak, ek paase the most clever person in the world, most intelligent person in the world. One, Guru Nanak, this person rich. He says something, Guru Nanak says something else. Who do you follow? If you follow Guru Nanak Dev Ji, no matter what this guy says, you're ready to be a Sikh. Yeah? Because you're saying, ki sab to vadda sad Guru Nanak. Bas, Sikh banenge. Yeah? So, this is the thing, when it comes to Amrit, how do you ready for Amrit? When you can't wait for Amrit. Inni pyas ho gaye, then you're sort of ready. Second thing is ask Guru Maharaj. If you got the pyas to give your head to Guru Maharaj, achieve Shahidi by the sword of the Khanda and the Bata, then ask Maharaj, what do you think Maharaj? Hukamnama lalo. Sadguru jagda hai Deva. Our Guru is alive. Take the Hukamnama, ask Maharaj, and maybe Maharaj will bless you. I didn't ask for Amrit. I asked to go to India. Maharaj said, take Amrit. So sometimes you get the Hukamnama you're not expecting as well. Yeah? Be aware. Do you get it? So, even my wife, she laughed about this. I asked some other question about my wife. Maharaj said, marry her. I'm like, eh? So you've got to be careful about Hukamnama, yeah? You might get something you're not expecting, but then Sikh da faris bandaya, the Sikh's duty must be, if the Guru gives a hukam, you must follow it. I've met many people who got hukam now from Maharaj, they got scared and they didn't follow it through. So I said, if you do that, that'll look sani. It's not going to help you as much as you could have got if you actually followed it all the way through. Even basics started with a hukam nama. We were talking to Faisal downstairs. I didn't start basics just on fun, started with the hukamnama. Okay? And every time I followed the hukamnama, what you are seeing now is all because of Maharaj's kirpa. It's not because of what I did, because Maharaj said hukam karo, and the Sikh's job is ki hukam maniye, hoye parvan. If you just follow his hukam, you will be accepted. Takas mein kaam hai, bhai se. So, Maharaj kirpa kare, we follow his hukam. The best thing is to ask Guru Maharaj what they think. Why we're going to have to rush through this, but we've got like 10 questions. So I'm going to go through. My kids are confused as to what Ik Onkar means. Does that mean there is only one God? The Ik means one God. Ik. Onkar de bahut sare arth hai. Now this new Katha about Sant Hardev Singh Dulo wale I put it on our SoundCloud. Very different to what we done, but there's so much Katha there. I recommend Onkar de bahut sare arth hai. Ik da arth sirf ek kaal pur hai. ठीक है ना? So, Onkar, we should find out what it means. There's a video on our channel called What Does Ik Onkar of Guru Prasad means. There's Katha on the SoundCloud by Sant Hardev Singh Gurdwara about Ik Onkar. Learn. I can't answer it now in 2 seconds, but it's a lot deeper than this. How far away from the Takht are we? Well, there's only one Takht made by our Guru, Akal Takht. We know how far we are from there physically. And also, politically, we're very far away from Akal Takht because it's not in our hands. Look, people who think, oh, you're trying to set up a Sikh Takht, that means you're against the Akal Takht. So I said, no. Asi sare Akal Takht ko mante hain. We accept Guru Har Gobind Sahib Maharaj. So I said, how can we accept that Takht that is not in our hands right now? It's not in our hands. So we can't accept that Takht because it's not working for our Pala, it's working for Bahadur da Pala. For Congress da pala, Indian government da pala, BJP da pala, it's not working for our pala, or Sarpat da pala. So, we must construct ourselves here, our own organization, look after ourselves. Call it Sarvat Khalsa, call it Pandit Pyari, call it whatever you want, call it Misl, England, whatever you want to call it. We have to make something here, so that we ourselves here can organize ourselves. We have to organize ourselves, like an army. Yeah? We need a headquarters. That's what we need, a HQ, where we get together and decide what we need to do. Okay? And that's what we are proposing. There should be a Sarvat Khalsa and a Pandit Pyari for the UK. That's how the Khalsa organize themselves. You can't organize without a Pandit Pyari, because if somebody argues, only the Pandit Pyari can give hukam ki chup. Okay? Sometimes people lost the shelter for Pandit Pyari as well, but that's the fault of so many years of history. The last Sarvat Khalsa was in 1986, but before that was in 1804. 180 years we didn't have a, 180, it was in 1804 when Ranjit Singh came in. So we lost 180 years we didn't have a Sarvat Khalsa. So you're going to have to be patient, Hassan. You have to be patient that we start this system slowly. And then we'll make mistakes, but over time, it will be Charti Kala. Be patient when the Sarvat Khalsa comes together. It will come together. Be patient, give it time, let it grow, and then, most of all, do not do Nindya of the Sarvat Khalsa. Do not do Nindya of the Pandit Pyari system. Maharaj Paisa just said now, Ki Khalsa Soi, Ninda Ko, Jo Ninda Tyage. So we must not do Nindya of our Guru Khalsa. When the Singhs came in again, sometimes we might think in our head, what's this going on? I met people who started saying, why are they dressed like this? It's Guru's route. we should not be in India of Guru's rule. No matter what we are wearing, our debate at Hada might wearing pants shirt, but we don't in India of our Guru's rule. Don't take that out of your head and accept it as one of the Rang Biranga Khalsa. Many different colors of Khalsa. Be happy with it. Is Ladiwar Sarup more worthy of respect than a Jurna Sarup where the words are broken up? Dekho, no. Pehli ka satkar, Gurbani is Guru, Bani Guru, Guru hai Bani. Which Bani? Amrit? Sorry. So we have to give it the same respect as Guru Granth Sahib Ji. But is it also more worthy for us to learn how to read Ladiwar? Then yes. It's definitely worthy for us to learn how to read Ladiwar. Because that's how the Gurbani was always written before. So, it's not the Sarup, that's the more respect, it's the fact that the chakras are joined together. We should make an effort to learn Ladiwar Padna. If we can't do it, we can try at least our nickname in Ladiwar and try and do that. But we don't disrespect, because the opposite of that question would be, do we disrespect the Sarup of Bani when it's not joined? And of course not. Sometimes people say, what about Jab Sahib? Is it Bani? Did we give it the same honor satkar as Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji? I turned it on them and I said, are you going to disrespect Jab Sahib then? Huh? You're going to put Jab Sahib on the floor, Jati Sahib on the shelf? No. Good give is container. So why do you ask this kind of silly question? Turn it around and think, are we going to disrespect that? No. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, if they had a Ganga, I'd respect that more than my whole life. So are we going to disrespect anything of our Gurus? Of course not. Mukhar bin Panik. Yeah, it's our Guru Mukhavat Bani. How to wake up at Amrit Vela.
First thing is to admit that you lost. Balasho क्यों बंदर वाले कचूना होते हैं भाई बालशो क्यों मेरा बाल आलास माया उसपे मैं तो हूँ भाई बालशो क्यों बंदर परे I'm trapped my body is stopping me from waking up बालशो क्यों बंदर परे कचूना होते हैं भाई मैं तो हूँ कुछ होता नहीं. So then we put it in Maharaji's hands. He says Maharaji proceed करो, you become my support. So first thing is ardas. तो दूसरी यहाँ पे चीज़ there's loads of things that go with it. No, obviously you've got to take into consideration it doesn't mean that so yeah, whatever time you go to sleep and things, you should be able to wake up fresh and early in the morning. So a lot of it is logic and common sense. So I would say Adas and then the rest is logic. We go through so many things like that too.
Somebody's out there to get us actually today. They've got a lot of questions that are a bit controversial. Somebody's waiting for us to slip up maybe. Or maybe they're looking for a bit of clarification. But so I said to you, I want to reiterate what our YouTube channel is called. Basics of Sikh. If we're going to get dragged into all the pange and all the arguments, then फिर की फायदा होया? समझ रहे हो? There's enough people arguing about some of the controversial stuff, but the simple stuff is being ignored. So the Beinti is to this person who's written an essay for us. Please be aware, we can't answer all the controversial questions. Yeah? Why? Because people aren't ready for it. People at the moment, we're very far away from Japji Sahib. Sant Hardesi Uti Katha, he said, Pehli Bani, Japji Sahib. And Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The first thing in the nickname, Japji Sahib. The very first thing to make Amrit, Japji Sahib. But it's the furthest away from our understanding is Japji Sahib. We have to start teaching Japji Sahib. Huh? If we start arguing about this stuff, people that don't understand Japji Sahib, what's going to happen? It's not going to work, is it? We're running before we can walk sometimes. Or chalani. Yeah? Got to start by walking first. Sajje. Even Guru Nanak Ji Maharaj started with Japji Sahib. Then Guru Gobind Singh before the Kirpan, Guru Har Gobind Singh before the Kirpan. They made the Sant first, then they gave it to Sipahi. It's not saint soldier, it's saintly soldier. Yeah? So, sorry about that. Question they asked there is Rakhi. There is no relevance to Rakhi and Sikhi now. Here's your Rakhi. Patrakhi Gurpal Brahm. And this is our Pal Brahm, our Kirpan is our Rakhi. If a woman wears a Kirpan, Why is she getting a string onto her brother's hand? She's carrying a kirpan. Maharaj said, "Hey, Palo, we're the only Dharam in this world to give a woman a kirpan. So why does she need a man to protect her? Because obviously Maharaj has given her a kirpan to protect herself. So Benti to all the sisters out there, if you're not drinking, if you're not drinking or doing drugs, carry a kirpan anyway. It's your Guru by your side. Carry a kirpan, Guru mere sang, sada hai, nani. Keep the kirpan with you, it will make you brave as well. Give you some strength. Guru Sahib with us. Is such kind of physical place, or is it in the presence of a Kal Purukh? There's Guru Nanak came back and he Guru Nanak went there and came back.
Guru Nanak talked about going to that world. Even when Guru Nanak speak about going into the Dara of Vayu, we don't really know in which context it meant, do we? Whether was it a physical place or was it a state of mind? Because it's depends how far we've gone in our own life of combined to understand. That's how we will understand that Bhakti as well. So they're talking about that Tadi Satya Mahal Kasum Malaya, that they're referring to themselves as Tadi Satya Mahal Kasum Malaya. This is that my cousin Wahidji called me to the true call. But again, we'd only be guessing to say, was that a physical place? So obviously it's not a physical place like we see now we experience with these senses. So even though Maharaj's Salir Karke, they went to the Vein Nadi, it wasn't that their body went to an actual place, it was just to say, and again that signified that Maharaj is saying that you'd have to go. If they've gone physically deep within this Nadi, they're telling us that we'd have to go deeper inside of our own self to realize why we are. So these are the Brahmagyanis translation.
Yeah. And those are pretending. In the Japji Sahib Katha on in our channel, so such can be both. It would have to be just one, it can be both. Bhai Gurdas says Sal Sangat Sachkhand hai. So this is for us Sachkhand because it's a place of Sach and it's a place of Shabad. Shabad is Sach for us as well. Shabad Khand Sachkhand can mean that as well. So if you see Vasai Nirankar, you can say Sachkhand Utthe Nirankar Vasta hai. But turn it around, Sasagiji. Sachkhand Vasai Nirankar, that's one meaning. And it's a true meaning as well. Then turn it around and say Sachkhand Vasai Nirankar. Vas Meri Govinda, Vas Meri Pyari. The Shabad comes inside us. And then Nirankar, Shabad Nirankar. So it can mean that when the Shabad comes and sits inside us, then God's inside us. And then the person has become Brahmyani of the Nirankar. So it can mean that as well. Very deep question. How can we stop someone smoking drugs? Well, to give you the really simple answer to this, so for the parents, some of your parents might be thinking, yeah, that would be good for me because my kids are doing drugs. And in Wandaya, many people, first we have to say, why is that person doing drugs? Because they're looking for some kind of high. You can't say to a druggie, don't do drugs. He goes, where am I going to get my high from then? Druggie is doing drugs, he wants the high. Where did we get the Anand from? Maharaj says, Anand Anand Sabko ka hai, Anand Guru te janiya. Nothing wrong with seeking a high, but why not get the best high? You know, like, if you see somebody, you know, like in Russia, they make their own alcohol, or vodka, it kills you. They still drink it. Even though they see Hagi and they get died, they get killed, they can become blind from it, they still drink it. Because they're looking to get nasha. Now, if you came across some Russian guy who was drinking, if you're an Amli, let's say you were Amli, and you met a nice Russian guy drinking that bad alcohol, and you had a bottle of vodka, you might say, I'll do his sale, I'll give him some vodka. No? At least he won't die from it, he'll still get the same nasha. So, what is our sale for somebody who's doing drugs? Let's give them an even better nasha. Naam nasha. Give them a better high of naam.
Guru Nanak Pacha gave us these examples. Within Bani, Guru Nanak Pacha said, when I was on my travels, they led somebody called Bhadur Jogi. He's a Jogi. Guru Nanak Pacha said to him, look, I'm drunk as well. You've got alcohol. I've got something similar to your alcohol. And this is Baba. Oh Jogi. Baba. Man matavaru. Naam ras pive. Sahaj rang rach rahe. कहते बाबा मन मत वालों कहते मेरी भी मत मारी गई पाप कहते I'm intoxicated as well कहते मैंने भी चढ़े हुए हैं नशा गुरु नानक पातशाह कहते जोगी नु so they have to give something back to these people ऐसा नहीं कि आप बच्चे के हाथ से कुछ खींच लिए तो उन्हें कुछ वापस दीजिए ना हाँ if you're going to take something out of the child's hand give them something back Guru Nanak Pacha did Guru Nanak Pacha went around these people that were taking alcohol to even all kinds of things जोड़न वास्ते Guru Nanak Pacha कहते बाबा मन मत वालों नाम रस पीवे कहते drink this juice of love call out Vaheguru's name with so much passion from here from your heart कहते and let that juice of love start dripping inside of you so you've replaced that buzz then कहते गुड़ कर ज्ञान ध्यान कर धावे कहते if you want to make alcohol because he was making alcohol this Bhadur Jogi he said they said गुड़ कर ज्ञान and they take Gyan as your God because that was one of the ingredients. So Guru Nanak is just giving him something back all the time. And then God ka Gyan. Gyan you can translate to, Professor Sahib Singh translated beautifully to a deep connection with Vaheguru. Dungi Sand Pani Vaheguru Ji de naal. Kande eh God tusi le aao to make this sharab, to make this nasha. So you can read that shabad, go back and read that shabad. It's beautifully explained by Guru Nanak Pacha. You can replace these things with something else. And the most important thing is if you want to get away from these things is Sangat. Guru Sahib Ji says, in the Sangat ka gun bahut adhikari, par suwa ganem udhare. And the jada Sangat da asar hai na, kehte wo bahut dunga hai. So the company that you keep is very, the asar of it, the effect of it is very deep. So then seek Sangat of Gurmukhs. Do ardas to Satguru Ji. Say, oh Satguru Ji, I want to get away from these things. Send me Sangat of Gurmukhs, those that are range hue in Vaheguru Ji's naam. So that's one way to get away from these things. Kirtani bhi aage, hun Sangat vich aage sadhe Bhai Kabir Singh huni. So I think we're going to come to start wrapping up.
There's one, I was going to say something about that. You know, when we're looking at the Gurdwara across the world, one thing we could do is actually explain to the adults the way you're going to get your kids away. What are the problems we're facing? Kids converting. Kids leaving Sikhi for alcohol and drugs. One of the ways to stop those problems is to bring people who understand those people at the front. Yeah? Those people that have been in that situation, been into drugs, been and done all this bad stuff, if they are in the front, they can relate to these people. If the old people keep holding on to their kursiyan, they'll come give in and batna. That's so. It won't happen. We need to bring counsellors into our Gurdwara, youth counsellors. We need to make people in position who actually can relate to these youth and they can help them. In South, we've got a problem. The elders won't let go. Even a daughter. Okay, we've got too many questions. I think we're going to leave it there. I'll just finish off with this, and it might be a bit of a help, might not. When a daughter comes into the house, after some time, as a daughter-in-law comes into the house, the mother will often say to the daughter-in-law, now you are of an age, then she gives the keys over. Now you're in India, that's natural progression. Natural progression. The same thing with a father and a son. One father might be having a business, and then the son is working with the father. After some time the father says to the son, you now know how to look after this business, and I give you the keys and I'm retiring, you now run it. Once they see that you're capable, once they see that you are able and you're willing, they should be able to pass on and have that natural progression. That's a real sad thing, that our youth are not being allowed to have that natural progression from the elders. There should be a natural progression, and that is the right way in life. The right way in life. It should not be that we have to fight against our elders in order to replace them. We shouldn't have to fight against them. They should just say, are you capable? If you got the pyar, then they should pass it on. It's not ours. We're not here for kursi. We're not here for anything. We should be here to do seva of our guru. And natural progression is from the father to the son, and then when the son gets older, to his son, and that's how it goes. So the same thing should happen in our Gurdwara and in our Panth as well. Yeah? That way the institutions will keep on getting filled up with fresh blood. And when water is flowing, it's safe to drink. When it stops flowing and it becomes stagnant, then it's not safe to drink anymore. We don't want our Panth to be like that. We want our Panth to be always refreshed. Because Sahib Mera, Neet Nama. Sada, Sada, Data. We should become fresh every time as well. Yeah? 10 years will be maximum for anybody to stay in power. Move on to the next one. So, Maharaj Kripa Kare, if we start to follow our Guru Sikhi, then we will go down that route of flowing water. The Panth will flow and Panth will be Charti Kara. Yeah, that's what we need. The Panth Charti Kara. So, Pura Chukri Ji, why is something which kind of?
I'm going to finish up with one Pangati is that Sab Kich Menu Sompya Ja Tera Banda. Sadhguru says that the Sab Kich Menu Sompya, that he's saying he's given me everything. Ja Tera Banda. When I become your servant, when I become your slave, oh Sadhguru, when I become your slave, and he gives me everything back, he gives me the chabi. And the Gurmukh Pyara said, what is that chabi for us? Jiddan na apa, ek Sikh di main gall suni hai, kehinde tusi ek gall yaad rakhiyo. Kehinde jenne bhi kirpaan pai hai na, inu keval kirpaan na samjhiyo. Kehinde inu pata ki samjhna, what do you think of this kirpaan? Kehinde inu eh samjhna hai कि गुरु गोबिंद सिंह जी पातशाह ने केवल कृपान नहीं दी पर पंथ की जिम्मेवारी दे दी है कि पंथ की चाबी देती सिख नूं कहंदे मैनूं तो बड़ा डर लगदा कि संभालने वास्ते जिम्मेवारी सो सब कुछ मैनूं सौंपिया जा तेरा बंदा सो पहला लेट्स बिकम दोस स्लेव्स पहला बणिए ओहदे बंदे पहला ओहदे बंदे बन के बंदी दा अर्थ ही ये ओहदे बंधन विच आ जाना टू बिकम पहला रहत विच आउणा बी ट्रैप्ड इन हीज रहत जो आपां ओहदी रहत विच आऊंगे ना फिर अपन सब कुछ आप ही सौंप देंदा दिस इज व्हाट द लीडर्स ऑफ टुडे नीड टू रियलाइज एज वेल इज learn to let go जो महाराज ने अपनी कृपान जिम्मेवारी देती है वो भी अपनी हुन सोचन के इस गांव जिम्मेवारी दी है सो वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह।